History sometimes hides its greatest secrets in the deepest darkness, just like that city lying beneath the waves. For centuries, there was a place mentioned in ancient texts but never found: Heracleion. The great historian Herodotus spoke of its wealth, epics exalted its splendor, but no matter how much they searched, not a single trace could be found, neither on the Mediterranean coast nor in the Egyptian deserts. For a long time, the modern scientific world believed this city was merely a fictional legend. It was thought to be a myth born of human imagination. But the sea could not hide the truth forever. Meters below the surface, a vast world where time stood still awaited its discovery. The year is 2000. French marine archaeologist Franck Poddio and his team embarked on a groundbreaking quest. Sonar scans conducted off the coast of Abu Qir Bay revealed unnatural structures on the seabed. When the divers descended, one of history's greatest archaeological discoveries began. The legend was true. So what was Heracleion? We need to go back 2,700 years. Before Alexandria was founded, Heracleion was the Egyptian Empire's single largest customs gateway to the world. The city, situated where the Nile River flows into the Mediterranean, was like a Venice built on a labyrinth of canals. Ships from all over the Mediterranean anchored here, and the world's richest trade took place in these streets. The city was not only a center of trade, but also of religion and faith. The enormous temple dedicated to Amun, Egypt's most powerful god, was the sacred place where new pharaohs were crowned. Legends say that even the beautiful Helen and Paris of Troy sought refuge in this city before the Trojan War. Power, wealth, and faith, Heracleion was adorned with colossal monuments that seemed indestructible. With its military ports and powerful navy, it controlled all the trade routes of the eastern Mediterranean. For centuries, this port was home to a people who lived in prosperity and luxury. But beneath this immense power lay a fatal flaw its founders failed to recognize: the enormous temples built on the weak, entirely clay and waterlogged soil of the Nile Delta. Nature was preparing its most terrifying weapons to end this arrogant rise of humankind. The 8th century AD. The city awoke to one of the darkest and most brutal nights in history. A massive earthquake wave struck the city, but the real destruction came not from the shaking, but from the ground. What science calls soil liquefaction occurred. The soil, composed of clay and sand, turned into water in seconds. The enormous waves triggered by the earthquake surged through the city, breaching the customs gates and walls. Temples weighing thousands of tons, massive granite statues, collapsed under their own weight as the ground beneath them eroded. Before people could even understand what was happening, their homes and streets crumbled beneath their feet. In a single night of catastrophe, the gates of a vast empire were completely erased from the map. When the sun rose the next day, all that remained of the city that stood there the night before was a boundless sea. Heracleion, with all its riches and people, was submerged in the depths of the Mediterranean and forgotten. For 1,200 years, this city remained hidden beneath a layer of silt and mud on the seabed. This layer of mud acted as a tremendous shield, cutting off contact with oxygen and protecting the city from the outside world. When archaeologists began excavations, they encountered what seemed like a time capsule frozen in time. At the bottom of the sea, colossal pharaoh statues, 5 meters tall, stood perfectly preserved, just as they had been on the first day. The gold necklaces, earrings, and rings in the jewelers' shops remained completely intact. More importantly, trade documents and inscriptions detailing the shared history of the two civilizations were found intact.
Baskets unopened for over 1,000 years contained dried fruit and wine jars. This discovery confirmed that much of what was written in history books was incomplete or inaccurate. A large stele confirmed that Heracleion was the same city as Thonis, unraveling a major mystery. The sea had concealed the greatest trading center of the ancient world like a library. Slowly, fragments of this immense history began to surface. Pharaohs and gods, revealed after centuries, reminded humanity of the power of the past. Today, these artifacts glim in the world's most prestigious museums. However, according to Franck Goddio, only 5% of this vast underwater city has been explored so far. Beneath the waves lie thousands of years of secrets waiting to be discovered. Heracleion is the clearest proof of how helpless humankind can be in the face of nature. There is no guarantee that the modern cities we live in today will not one day share the same fate. Time flows, empires crumble, and all that remains is the deep, deafening silence of the sea. The lost gate of Egypt is a sunken monument whispering to us that we must avoid arrogance. History confirms legends, but the sea only returns them to us when it wants to. So, where do you think the other lost cities submerged underwater are hidden? Will nature swallow everything one day?
Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to Global History Agenda to continue exploring the hidden secrets of the past.